Yo, this is Yapzone Episode 2, the video diary-esque thing where I just basically say whatever unscripted that I've been thinking about this week. Um, yeah, I mean, first off, it's number 2. It's the second one, which means that I followed through and uploaded the first one. Otherwise, I wouldn't even be working on this one. But yeah, it took a lot of time. I'm trying to be consistent though. The first one, honestly, like I talk about how it took me like years to upload something, and the thing is like when I filmed that video, it took me another like month and a half just to figure out the issues that I was having with Adobe Premiere and like the recording in OBS and just everything was messing up. And then I finally was able to upload it. It's still not perfect, obviously, but I was able to get it to a working position to where I could upload something, and that took like a month longer than I expected to. But here I am. I'm working on the second one, and progress. Things get better over time. I've kind of gotten to a slightly better spot with the recording software and everything, so hopefully the output's a lot better. We'll see. I'm probably not going to do the intro. I might add it in. I don't know. That was just kind of me messing around just so I can get practice with editing, but I'll probably practice editing on a different video. But I mean, what's up? How's the week? How's everybody's week? Mine's been kind of, up and down. It's been still working like way too much, trying to find the time to just keep working on myself and things like that. Keeping to a schedule, all that shit's hard and everything. But I guess one thing that I have been thinking about this week was like what I find a lot that happens, and it's kind of like a hills and valley type thing with like the progression in my life is like no matter where I end up or what I'm doing, typically if I end up doing the same thing like often, I get to these weird like lulls of depression where I'm like I feel like I'm getting complacent, like stuck in what I'm doing. And currently that's kind of what I've been feeling with my job. Like I've been, making a lot more money than I've ever made before. It's still not crazy, I'm not like rich, but more than I've ever made. And the job sucks. Like I just sit at a desk all day and sit there and fucking like move my hands and clean some parts like all day, every single day at a desk. Like I get to sit there and watch stuff on the side, which is cool and everything, but it's like after a little while, like the novelty of having something that's shit easy just wears off. And I'm sitting there like this, like I feel like I'm not gaining much and I'm not engaged in it. And it's just like a wasted 10 hours because I work like 10 hours a day throughout the week, and then like anywhere from like 8 to 20 on the weekend. And when you're doing that shit like all week, every week, you rarely have time for anything. It just like wears you down. You feel like you're not being challenged enough. And I've had a lot of moments where I get to that point where I'm every time I start something new, whether it's me moving somewhere else or me starting a new job, where I get to that point of complacency where I just want to hit, slash unstuck to hope that like there's like something in life software that could just revert me back into, being directly on track of what I want to do. But that's not really, how it works. It's not that simple. So you have to like actually commit like brain focus, willpower, like everything to try to get yourself out of this like mindset where you're just like what am I doing kind of thing. And it gets easier. I want to say it does get easier, but it doesn't stop. Like there'll be some points that are lower than others, so eventually maybe you'll hit another deep one. But over time, I've gotten these like mechanisms where I'm kind of like a lot better at identifying whenever I'm getting complacent and unhappy with my situation, feeling like nothing's changing, and I start being able to throw wrenches in there to try to change up change up the path, and just figure out how to get myself back onto that positive mindset. Like currently for me, I'm still, working this boring, exhausting job, and I wasn't being creatively fulfilled enough. I was watching videos while I was at work because I had that luxury where I could just, study things. I'm still trying to learn Japanese. I'm still, you know, researching video editing and producing and a bunch of other stuff, but like it doesn't feel like I'm actually flexing the muscle, you know, like I'm sitting here and taking all this information, but I don't feel like I'm actually getting the chance to use it. And that's particularly because of my shit schedule. Like I work way too much. And so I don't have the wherewithal to get home and take that time and sit here and create in front of it. I'm just exhausted. You know, I just want to sit down and relax. Like I don't ever have time to actually do that. I'm constantly, you know, moving and lifting things, and scheduling and time is crazy. It's so important. Like following any kind of routine is crazy. Like I've been trying to follow like small routines to just to get the hang of things. It's just like to I don't know, just become better at that. And for me, most of the time, it's just right now at least it ties into my weight loss and my fitness stuff. Like for me, routines that I'm trying to build are, you know, inputting every single thing that I eat into my calorie tracker, which I haven't done in a while, but I just started recently because I feel like every time I actually do that, I start losing weight. But when I don't, I just eat random shit and I just gain again. Like that's how I got here, dude. It's just like Whataburger every fucking night, Whataburger, Whataburger. And then I just, you know, all of a sudden I wake up and I'm 5'7", like height wise, so I should be around like 160. But I woke up and I was like 230 pounds. You know, and you have that moment where you look in the mirror and you're like, what the fuck? Like who? And you just like you want to ignore it every time you walk past the mirror. But whenever I did have some success, it was usually when I was trying to be a little bit meticulous about things, like counting my calories actually. And I'm trying to do that and then also hold myself accountable and do like something small every day. Like I have a pull-up bar finally set up, so I try to do like 5 pull-ups, like here and there, and then I do like a before bed thing, or not really before bed, but when I get off work, I'll do like push-ups, sit-ups, squats, planks, and then hygiene and stuff like that. And I haven't followed it every day, which is, you know, it sucks, but like the how I am as a person is just hard. Like my I don't know if it's the ADHD that like makes me only able to focus on the thing that I was like directly thinking about at the time. But it's hard for me to go out of my way to remember, you know, the plan, remember the just whatever it is. And I've been getting better about that. But currently it's just like I've hit that point where while I am getting better healthy, like health wise and fitness wise, like I think it's just the way life is. I'm sure other people feel this way. Like it's crazy whenever you're like out and about, like you have these moments probably like similar to me where you're just like you feel a little lost and you just like feel different. You feel like an alien in the world where you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. And all these people around me are just so put together. Like, you know, you see the people you look up to or your good friends who are just like, you know, taking care of business and you're like, who, what, like, why am I shit compared to them? This guy's got a nice job and you know, I see him and he's got like a cool partner and he's doing these activities that he posts online and stuff like that. But like we only see obviously the things that we're shown by them. So we don't see the behind the scenes, we don't see the work, we don't see the stress. And I guarantee 9 times out of 10, all these people are going through very similar paths, whether it's like hitting those hills and valleys, you know, where they're probably also trying to hit slash on stuck some nights. And it's just like you can't be worried too much about like you being out of the ordinary or you just like being more, I don't know, of a loser than everybody else, because it's not the case. Like everybody's a fucking loser half the time. Obviously, there's more responsible people than you, but they all struggle in their own way. So instead of sitting here wasting your time like thinking about this person who's accomplishing things similar to what you want, like just focus on yourself because that's really all you can control. And I don't know, if you get to that point where you're trying to unstuck, you have to just like for what I'm doing right now, it's just take a breather kind of and do things outside of the norm. Like anytime I get to this point, what I've found that helps me is just I'm just like recently, like last night, I went to like I just randomly spontaneously went to an underground like tunnel rave, and I just, you know, it's not necessarily 100% my scene, but it was just like something social and something out of the house. I mean, you know, I had fun. Like I got out of my comfort zone a little bit, and then that's really all it is. That's all I need is like that tiny bit of time where you step out and you just break up the monotony of life, you know? Whether it's you going to see a movie by yourself, which is actually fun. Like I recommend that to people. I think people don't They always think they need other people to do things, but when I say like get out and break them all, you don't have to be around people. Like if you want to go see a movie by yourself or go shopping and buy yourself something, just getting out of the house and out of that same schedule that you do is it's life changing, and you have to do it every once in a while. You can't allow yourself to get stuck in the whatever, because you're at least for me, my mental just degrades over time whenever that happens. But yeah, I mean, I've kind of been rough drafting plans constantly, and it's something so silly and something that like doesn't get preached enough. But if you're complacent in your job and things like that, that's normal. Like, and it's normal to want better, and it's normal to apply to other jobs consist even if you just got a new job, you can still be applying to better. Like you're never restricted in just being stuck at one job. Like, yeah, you might have moments where you might need to buckle down a little bit because you're in debt or you need, you save some money or whatever, do the safe route. You can still look for something that fits that mold. Like there are jobs that fit whatever you need at the time. And if you don't like the one that you're at, or even if you do like the one that you're at, you should always be looking for something else. And I've just been kind of pushing that a little bit where like I know I've been applying here and there. I've discovered a few new programs that I can do, and now I kind of have like a rough draft plan of what I want to do, where either I'm going to get transferred through my job overseas to Japan or something like that, or I'm going to just, save up the money through decent jobs that I have now. And, 2, 3 years from now, when I'm in my early 30s, I'll probably go join like a Japanese language school and get like a visa so I can do a student visa there for like a year or two and just go overseas with the money that I saved up to be a student on the student visa and just live in Japan for a few years. And that's probably, I don't see that changing anytime soon. I think that's probably the plan for me right now. If anything, it'll help me. I'll probably end up creating more content because of it. I won't be needing to spend so much money like I'm gonna find another way to make money on the side. The goal would honestly to be to make enough money through doing so, like, some form of content creation within the next year or two, to where I'm not asking for, it to be my main job, because that's like a far-fetched like that. Maybe it'll happen. We'll see. But that takes time and luck and a lot of things. So I'll give it my all, or at least, what my mental at the time allows me to give for my all. But I'm just trying to get to the point where I can make like at least like a couple hundred a month. And then at that point, with money saved, a couple hundred converted to yen would make it like pretty easy for me to live and not have to work very much at all, maybe for like a couple hours a week. And yeah, and I mean, you might be thinking, you're gonna need money, 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 but I'm not talking about like a small sum. I'm talking about like saving like 60K before I go, and that would convert into several million yen, which is like I've done the math and everything. Um, Whatever. Who cares what you think? I've worked out the plan a little bit, so I'll take the risk. I don't really care about the say. See, this is the thing. I've always been worried about like doing it the right way or having a safety net. And that all goes back to my dad. Like I'm not gonna go deep into it this time because this video is already getting pretty long, but I always try to focus on making sure I'm doing the right thing and having a safety net and not quitting this before having that. And just always like having one foot out the door, but one foot in at the same time, because the way my dad would always say things is like, you can't quit this job until you have another job. You need to save enough money to where you have a good safety net before that, like, just the smart methods of everything, but it wasn't like taught in a way that was like, this should be done, and I learned your lesson. It was like, you have to do this. I'm going to be overbearing about it. And so now I'm like worried about it all the time. And I rarely ever take risk. Like, I don't know how to take risk as much as I used to be because of all the helicopter parenting stuff that happened there. But I have my plan, and yeah, I mean, this is video 2. Thank you for watching. If you step by, I'm sure most of you probably left it for like 3 minutes if the analytics are correct, but I don't really mind that. This is technically mostly for me. It's my little video diary that I'll look back on later. But if you're ever feeling stuck and you're ever in a position where you don't know who you are or what you're doing, or what the plan is. Go outside and just not meditate, but like meditate, like if that makes sense. Like think for a while, like what do you like? What do you do? What makes you happy, even if it's something silly, and just find a way to take a break from the stress and everything. Step outside and do something that breaks up whatever routine you're in right now. You work every day, you go to school every day, you do this. It might not be feasible, it might not be easy, but take a step out, take a break, go see a movie, buy yourself something nice to eat, and talk to yourself. Think about yourself. Even if you're like me, where you couldn't look at yourself in the mirror because you didn't like what you looked at, or, you're not where you want to be yet, do it. You need to. You need to talk to yourself because yourself is the one that matters. You need to assess what's happening in your life and face it head on without running away from it. You can't be afraid of who you are. You can't be afraid of looking in the mirror. You have to accept yourself and find the things that give you joy. And the plan and everything, it'll come along. Like you don't need some hard coded itinerary of being here at this date, there at that date. You can't control all the other outside sources. You can't control when you're gonna get a ticket. You can't control the people that come into your life. You control yourself. So focus on yourself. Do what you love. Like for me, for example, I like making people happy. I like creating things and performing and getting reactions out of people. I do, improv comedy. I like to make people laugh. So being social for a little bit and getting that kind of like happiness boost and dopamine boost from making my friends laugh is plenty for me to kind of get back on the right track a little bit. So find what you like, doesn't matter what it is. You just don't hide, you know. If you're feeling stuck, hit the /unstuck button on your keyboard and get the fuck out. Like you need to break up the mold and you'll figure it out. Just like, I mean, if I can figure shit out, then I think anybody can, because I'm the most nitpicky, back and forth, never commit to anything, all talk, no action, Andy in the world. Like I mean, I'm sure there's worse, but for me, it doesn't. I don't feel like there's anyone that's worse than me and not following through on stuff. But that's just me being negative. But episode 2 is out. I don't want to ramble too much because there's so much things that I want to talk about. But yeah, I don't want to hit the 20-minute mark this time, so I'll save it for next time. But I appreciate anyone if they came by, and might see you in episode 3. Peace.